family
have
or
that
a
choice
small
already.
family?
They have a choice.
But if they can't afford, for instance,
And they don't have access to information.
then how?
They have, because the Population Control Program, the Population Commission, has been doing that since 1970.
Sir, do you
They
believe
started
that?
in 1970.
Sir, do you believe
They've
that?
spent billions of pesos for, they have regional offices.
Sir, do you believe that the availability of contraceptives, the availability of the services to give you contraception, for example, that it is the citizens' right to know of these choices? Because certainly we should give them choices and then they can choose.
Well, as I said, the choices are there. But the problem is, there's a myth being created. You know, I'm very wary when there is a proposal that would entail the purchase of billions of pesos of commodities.
Whether they be condoms or
Condoms
rights
or
what?
contraceptives. I'm very careful about that. When there is that proposal and it carries with it a government program that would entail billions of pesos to buy this item, you have to be very careful about it.
Why?
What is the agenda there?
Okay.
You know, like for example, you're going to give, as I said, it's a fiscal decision. Where do you give priority?
It's budget allocation.
You know, you want the country to develop. The central bank governor just said about 4 weeks ago that our population is an asset. All that we need to do is a development program that will increase their purchasing power. Nanda Nilikani, the multi-billionaire in India, just said that he's going around, he's talking to the London School of Economics, he's being invited to Harvard, and he said that in India they've changed their attitude already, that instead of looking at population, at their huge population, as a negative, they now look at it as a positive.
Okay.
They consider it an asset. That's why they're competitive now.
So what do you think of
Look
people
at what's happening in the world right now. China is reversing their population policy. Singapore is reversing their population policy. Korea right now is going to spend about $67 billion to correct their population policy.
Sir,
Anyway.
you talked about population economics. Sorry, I'll wrap up with this. As if it were just people vis-a-vis the space, but certainly it's not just people and space. It's people, provision for livelihood, etc., etc. Unless all these other factors.
But that's a good point.
Yeah, I know
So
it's a
instead
good
of
point.
buying contraceptives, why
Build
not
the
put
other
3 billion
factors.
to the Tesla and train about 200,000 people?
Okay.
Why not,
okay,
instead of 3 billion for school buildings, why not make it 5 billion so that we can have better school buildings?
I will attempt a really clumsy segue here, but since you're talking about training, TESDA, what do you think our government should do so that we produce more boxers as good as Pacquiao?
Sir, is it true that you were a boxer?
Pacquiao is a product of a lot of children.
But
Sir,
no, I'm talking about boxing now. We're not talking about
No,
So
the more people you have, the more chances that you have.
Sir, I
Another
know.
Pacquiao.
I know that you are a boxer.
Listen to Pacquiao.
For people who are watching, many of you probably don't know, or maybe you know that Representative Golez was a boxer. Sir, if you were asked to box against Manny Pacquiao today, will you win?
I'll answer this way. If I boxed him during my prime, I would have knocked him out in 10 seconds flat. Why? Because he was only 1 year old that time.
Sir, what is it like working with President Arroyo now? I mean, she's the leader you tried to impeach in the previous years.
Yeah.
Now you're
Oh,
find yourself
it's
working
fun.
with her on some bills.
Oh, it's not just President Arroyo. We have so many celebrities there in the House of
Oh, is she a celebrity?
We have the
Sorry, I
former
missed
First
that.
Lady,
No.
Aldo Marcos. Of course, we have Manny Pacquiao. We have Ladi Mercado. We
Sir, I
have,
think the question is the switch. How is the rhythm? Because you used to oppose her a lot, and now she's your office
we're
mate.
very friendly to each other.
Oh, wow.
It's a very civil chamber.
So political.
Yeah, we smile at each other. Sometimes we bless
You
a
have
beso.
coffee, no?
Yeah, we have coffee.
Kumustahan?
We
Ganyan.
have,
does she ever, or does anyone ever bring up the past?
No,
grudges?
in fact, the
No.
first time we met, it was like a meeting of friends.
So it was like working
How
with
are
her
you?
We
again.
were so warm. We were so warm to each other. In fact, when we were together in one committee meeting, and I noticed she was still using her laptop, I said, "Ma'am, Why did you use
iPad.
the iPad?
Speaking of
Yes,
iPad,
now she's using the iPad.
speaking of iPad, sir, you seem to be very techie. Like, who was your tutor into getting into
No, but
technical stuff?
I've been, you know, I started, we did programming in the Naval Academy. We used
Sir.
computers. So this is just a continuing transition from high tech to the higher tech and
And
to
you're
the higher
also
tech.
very active in social media.
Sir, is
we
it true?
noticed.
Oh, yeah.
Sir, is it true that you used to upload every single hearing you're at, and even wakes
Oh, yeah,
the
I can upload 20 videos in one day.
I know.
What has social media done for you, sir? For your career?
Social media, you know, I look at Facebook as journalizing my daily activities. It's my own
It's a
record.
journal.
So that maybe 50 years from now, my grandchildren will look at it and say, there's our Lolo
I agree. I
walking
agree
around.
with you on that one.
Yeah, that's history. I wish there was Facebook already 50 years ago. I wish there was YouTube already, so I could look at myself when I was 1 year old, 10 years old. You know, it would be a lot of fun.
Well, what about
We don't have
the darker side of it, which is what keeps me away, really? I mean, it's really
Which
all
one?
this uncensored sort of
Well,
reaction. And,
that's why you have to be very careful also.
So do you get a lot of that? Do you get a lot of really vicious people commenting on you on your Facebook?
Not really.
No?
You know, the Facebook is supposed to be a gathering of friends. That's why you call your members friends. If he's not friend, you unfriend him.
Okay.
Has it at least helped you in your advocacies, in crafting
Oh, yeah.
bills?
I post articles, for example, about the economy, about what's happening in the world, things that interest me, and post it there so that others can read. And in a way, they can see what kind of a position I take. Like, if I see something good happening, for example, like in Korea, you know, I post it, Twitter it, and share the YouTube.
Sir, several people say that you shouldn't tell people where you are physically online. It's for safety and etc. Do you always
No,
post where you
it's
are?
not real time. No, no.
Not
of
real
course
time.
not.
Okay. Where you went?
Where I was, yeah.
Okay.
Or where I am, but I began in 10 seconds.
Okay.
I say I'm here in, if I can mention it,
Sure.
I'm here having coffee in Tropical Hut in BF with some friends.
And then in 10
a few
seconds you're
minutes
gone.
I'll be gone.
Okay, and you would expect him to be conscious of things like that. After all, he was a former national security
That's
advisor,
right. As
right?
a child, I always saw your name on the post office.
So it's really you who's managing your Twitter
Oh,
account, not your
yeah.
staff?
I can do it better than most people.
Well, I do feel though that, I mean, you're wasting yourself on these petty concerns. Why don't you talk about terrorism anymore? Why don't you talk about security?
I read a lot. I have Google alert of so many subject matters.
Okay.
These are very serious reading materials.
Okay, so you're still...
I can read maybe about 100 articles in one day.